Good evening. For those of you who don't know us, I'm Chuck Evans. I graduated from CA in 2008. And this is Devin Hightower. He graduated from CA in 2009. Despite what you may have just witnessed on the court, I promise we used to be good athletes back in our day. In all seriousness, we're both honored and privileged to speak on behalf of our first inductee, Coach Wade Smith.
Coach Wade was a selfless coach, always preferring for his team and players to get their recognition and awards. So I'm extremely glad tonight is about honoring him and his legacy in Clarksville Academy athletics. For the better part of 2 decades, you would be hard-pressed to find a more influential coach and supporter of Clarksville Academy athletics than Coach Wade and Ms. Patsy. Throughout his 20 years of dedicated service within the athletics department, he held many different coaching positions. Assistant varsity baseball coach from 2001 to 2004. Head varsity baseball coach from 2004 to 2018. Intermediate school boys basketball coach 2003 to 2004. There was another stint in there too, because I helped. Assistant varsity boys basketball coach varsity boys basketball coach 2004 to 2007. Head varsity girls basketball coach 2007 to 2009. In addition, he and Ms. Patsy led FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, for 15 years from 2005 to 2020. During his successful run as head baseball coach, his teams won multiple district championships, made several region and sub-state appearances, and he amassed 200-plus career wins, taking Clarksville Academy baseball to new heights. He was a 2-time winner of Leaf Chronicle Coach of the Year in 2008 and 2016. And in 2010, he was a recipient of the City of Clarksville Legends Coach Award.
Coach Wade and Ms. Patsy's legacy could not be told without mentioning Wes Smith Field and the CA Sports Complex. Wesley Smith, Coach Wade and Ms. Patsy's son, who tragically passed away in 2004, dreamed of having a sports complex that CA athletes and teams could call home. For years, CA teams played all throughout Montgomery County, often playing home games at local public complexes. To honor and continue Wesley's great legacy, Coach Wade and Ms. Patsy led the charge, with many of you in this gym tonight, to make Wesley's dream a reality. They showed the CA community what faith, hope, and determination truly are, and today Clarksville Academy athletes get to play on the best field in town. A good coach can change a game, a great coach can change a life. This quote was shared with me while I was prepping for this speech, and I'm not sure I could have written a better statement than this to describe Coach Wade. While his career on the field statistics and awards are more than enough to induct him into the Clarksville Academy Hall of Fame, what truly makes him special is the impact he had on his players, the school, and the community off the field. He loved and cared for all his players, and he took immense pride in developing talent, especially when others overlooked or failed to see what he could. He never tried to make his teams fit in a box. He allowed his athletes to be themselves, only asking to give everything he got for the team. He demanded accountability, hard work in class, win or lose, practice or game. He led by example, and as one of his players, you knew how much time and effort he put into coaching his teams, and you wanted to do your best for him and to help the team win. There's no doubt in my mind that as much as the players learned on the field from him, the life lessons he shared and the example he provided to us all shows his impact transcends the field or the court. Coach Wade, thank you for everything you've done for me through the years. I love you and Ms. Patsy like family, and I can only hope one day my girls will have a coach to influence their lives like you did mine. Welcome to the Clarksville Academy Hall of Fame.
2005 to 2011. Just a little caveat, I have some former players out here, Zach Eaton, Zach Burkhardt, Austin Lutz, Devin Hightower, Chuck Edelman. They secretly bribed me and begged me to talk as long as I could because they said they could not go back out the second half of the game to play. So I'm just sending that out there. So if I go a little long, you know why. I'm doing it for them. Just a little bit, Coach Ravens, Patsy, what the legacy you guys have over the last 25 years stretched way beyond what anyone else could possibly compare to. Just, you have the physical legacy of West Smithfield, but your legacy and the lives that you touch, not just athletes, but students, it'll go long beyond what anybody remembers on that field. So I can't thank you enough. Coach Burton, your legacy at Austin Peay, 50 years plus of education and coaching, correct? Doing backflips. You've touched an enormous amount of students, and you are definitely smarter than the average fan. Then Johnny, I looked up to you. I was a couple years younger than you in high school, and you were definitely a very talented player. But what impresses me even more is you won championships in a private school setting at Clarksville Academy. Then you went to Cheatham County, a rural school, and you won championships there. And now you're at Rossville, a large suburban school, and you're still winning championships. So you are a coach's coach. It doesn't matter what talent you have. It's almost impossible to game plan against you, so you're well deserving as well. Tonight I'm speaking on Malcolm and Martin, and I know they're not here, and I know we often lump them together. So forgive me if I go a little bit long, but I am honoring two people, so I think I should speak a little bit longer to do them justice. In the 2 years that I started coaching before they came here, we won 7 games. Not 7 games a year, we won 7 games in 2 years. In the 4 years that they were on the basketball team, Clarksville Academy, we won 114 games, over 28 wins per season, 3 district championships, 3 regional championships, 2 sectional championships, 2 state tournament appearances, and a state championship. It's hard to fathom that kind of turnaround. Malcolm averaged over 18 points a game, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks, while Martin averaged over 13 points a game, 9 rebounds, 2.5 blocks, and 3 assists. They made multiple all-district, all-region, all-league chronicle, all-Tennessean, all-state teams. Both were nominated as McDonald's All-Americans and featured in Sports Illustrated. Martin was a Tennessee Mr. Basketball finalist, while Malcolm was back-to-back Mr. Tennessee Basketball. Malcolm and Martin were both 1,000-point scorers at Lipscomb, graduated college, and are currently playing in Europe. Those are the numbers that prove their merit for induction in the Hall of Fame. The numbers just give you the cold hard facts. They don't tell you the story, which to me is far more interesting. Why is it there are certain teams that when we think of that are etched in our mind that happened decades ago, that we can instantly think of them? We could possibly even name the players on that team. Whereas if you ask someone who won the Super Bowl or the World Series in 2020, you might have to think a few minutes. To me, it's because those teams touched the fans. They made the fans feel like they were part of it. They connected to them. And I think that's what the Twins helped our team do during that time. Everyone always lumps Malcolm and Martin together, and they're both fierce competitors, but they definitely have different personalities and playing styles. I always get asked constantly to compare the two, and this is the best description I can give. Malcolm was super aggressive. He wanted to come directly at an opponent and knock them out. Whereas Martin was very stoic. He stayed in the shadows, and he would kill opponents with 1,000 small cuts, and they never realized it until they bled out. At the end of the game, the team had either been knocked out or bled to death, and both styles were equally effective. No one would dispute the fact that Malcolm and Martin became the faces of the athletic renaissance across all sports that occurred during that time at Clarksville Academy. Their era at Clarksville Academy was the perfect storm. The school revived the varsity football program, which soon began making playoff appearances, The baseball team as well began to have winning seasons and make the postseason consistently. The Covington sisters made the state finals in tennis. The girls and boys soccer teams improved. The girls basketball team vastly improved. And much to my chagrin, because my daughter is now a bowler, I have to share my basketball players with the bowling team. And lo and behold, they became a powerhouse during that time. So I guess karma comes around with that. Chuck and Devin, this is my official apology to you. They were bowlers. So, Malcolm and Martin were the face of Clarksville Academy during that time. But they would be the first to tell you, we were blessed throughout the entire school with numerous multi-sport athletes that were all state that went on to collegiate careers as well. This is truly miraculous to think the transformation that occurred during that short time beyond just basketball. So their stats provide clear evidence of their Hall of Fame induction, but more impressive to me are the intangibles. I often see enormous talents when I'm watching sports, and usually with enormous talent comes enormous ego, which makes it very difficult to coach. Malcolm and Mark were the exceptions. 99% of the time, they walk these halls with smiles on their faces. They high-five and chat with the elementary kids. They talk to the middle school students. And they were dead center in everything that was happening in the high school. They didn't set themselves apart from the student body. They embraced it. And that's what made them so beloved by their fellow classmates. They had great talent, but they were also normal teenagers. And they never thought of themselves as being too good or above it all. It's a rare combination to have that much talent and fame, yet still loved by your peers. For those of you who were here, you remember the atmosphere in this gym when they played. For some of those games, if you didn't get here by the start of the girls' game, you often found yourself on the baseline up against the wall watching. You remember how loud it was. I would go home most nights with ringing in my ears, a massive headache. The next morning, I would try to teach class, and my voice sounded like I'd smoked a carton of cigarettes just because I lost my voice. It would get so hot in here, we would open these outside doors between the girls and the boys' game just to provide some relief. Away games, a lot of times we would bring bigger crowds than what the home team would have in their own gym. The only thing I think of on the local version, it was like we were the Rolling Stones tour. And when we stepped off the bus, Malcolm and Martin were Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. People may not have known anything about basketball, but they would show up just for the show. It truly became a service at times in a great way. So, what was it? What made this time special? There have been a lot of great teams in Clarksville. I really can't put my finger on it. And I don't understand why that happened at Clarksville Academy, because most private schools struggle with the community supporting them, because unless you have direct ties to that school, a lot of times they just don't care, or they don't follow along. So my theory is why so many people jumped on that bandwagon is because Malcolm and Martin didn't act like they were superstars at Clarksville Academy, only to be worshipped and not spoken to. They embraced the student body. They knew every kid's name in school. They would ask about what was going on in their chess club. They would show up for choir performances. They would ask, what you were doing on your ACT. They were just one of the guys. And so that's why the student body jumped on. They wanted them to have a student section. And they embraced that. And I thought that was very special. And I think when those students showed up to support the team, then their parents started showing up. And then friends of their parents started showing up. And it just snowballed. How their teammates felt about them. With players that talented, surely you got jealousy among teammates, right? However, what happens when your star players, when they score a basket, instead of celebrating, they point to the person that passed them the basket, giving them credit? How did the teammates feel when Malcolm and Martin would give up good shots to pass the ball to them because they had better shots? How did their teammates view Malcolm and Martin? They would dive on the floor after loose basketballs and sacrifice their body taking charges like they were a college walk-on trying to earn a scholarship. What happens when your most talented players work as hard in practice as they do in games? How does the team feel when Malcolm and Martin were always the ones interviewed after the game by the media? Yet when given a chance, they were sure to point out, Chuck Edlin played great defense tonight. And I scored a lot of points, but it was because Devin Hightower found me. Zach Burkhardt knocked down some key threes to help us win. Zach Heath brought a lot of hustle to the floor diving after loose balls. They always shared credit as much as they could. And when your best players do that consistently, there's little room for jealousy. To put it plainly, they walk the walk. Practicing what you preach is far harder than just preaching. I will end with this. Everyone remembers the epic state championship game when Martin had 35 points, Malcolm had 32. As their coach, I choked away a 23-point lead and found ourselves down by 5 points with 2 minutes to go in double overtime. And then Martin made that huge three-pointer and we went on a 10-0 run to end the game. That is the moment most people remember. However, if you ask me what my favorite moment of Malcolm and Martin are, beyond the wins, beyond the stats, beyond the accolades, it would be this. When we had the game in hand, I would take the starters out. You know, nearly every team I see when this happens, the stars are over there on the bench, they're laid back, their arms crossed, their feet kicked out, they're turning around, chatting with people in the stands, they're making odds at cheerleaders. They're rarely engaged in the game. They're not watching the game, they're not watching their teammates. They've done their part, right? They've won the game. None of these two guys. When they came off the floor, they would stand up, they would clap, they would wave towels. Every charge a bench player would take, these guys would celebrate like they had just won the Academy Award for hitting the floor so hard. Every basket someone would make, they would not only point at the kid, the JV kid that scored, they would point at the kid that passed him the basketball. Every defensive stop or dive on the floor, they were cheering them on as if that play was the game-winning play, when in reality we were already 30 points ahead. They appreciated all their teammates and they celebrated when they had success. When you have younger players that have never experienced that spotlight, when you have older players that sacrifice every day in practice to make it as competitive as it can be, but yet they don't get much playing time just because there's so many talented players in front of them, those few minutes of playing time they get at the end of a game, that is their Super Bowl. And they had two of the best high school players in Tennessee that were actively invested in them and cheering them on during their 15 minutes of fame. That is what created the winning culture for Clarksville Academy. That is why their teammates loved them. The 27 Yankees, the 86 Bears, Jim Valvano's magical 83 North Carolina State Wolfpack team. It's not always the greatest teams that people remember. It's their story. It's the culture of the team. It's their personality. It's the ability for fans to relate to the team and feel like they are part of it. Those are the reasons why their teammates and their classmates love Malcolm and Martin. That is why the community joined this huge bandwagon as it traveled town to town as the must-see event. Statistics are tangible, but intangibles are what made Malcolm and Martin so beloved. In closing, I would be remiss if I did not state the obvious. Malcolm and Martin have phenomenal parents that put faith first, family second, followed by discipline and academics, then athletics. It is amazing how well things work out and priorities stay in that order. Their statistics are why they are Hall of Fame players, but their character and actions are why they will always be Clarksville Academy legends. Malcolm and Martin, I know we're recording this, so congratulations on your Hall of Fame induction. Thank you.
My name is Brian Ayers, and it is a pleasure and honor to be here tonight. I'm glad this worked out. From the moment I walked in the door, it's been a few years since I've been here, but seeing classmates, teachers, coaches, family, friends, this is an awesome night, so I'm glad I get to be a part of it. But let's get to Johnny. Johnny Jackson has been impacting teams as a player, as a teammate, and as a coach for 35 years. Johnny graduated from Clarksville Academy in 1989 and was a multi-sport athlete. Played basketball, football, baseball, and golf. During his high school career, Johnny achieved great athletic success and cemented his name in the record books. In basketball, he scored over 2,000 points and set the following records. Most points in a game was 48. Most assists in a game was 17. Most rebounds in a game were 24. In baseball, Johnny held the school record for single-season batting average and stolen bases. After graduation, Johnny would continue his basketball career at Kiwanis Junior College. Thankfully, in 1996, Johnny would return to Clarksville Academy as a teacher and a coach. He coached basketball, football, and golf between 1996 and 2002. Additionally, he served as athletic director starting in 2001. For the past 19 years, Johnny's been the head coach at Rossview High School, and last season achieved another significant milestone with his 400th career basketball win. These stats, records, and accomplishments easily made Johnny a Hall of Fame inductee. But let me tell you why he was a special player. Some people have some talent, and you'll hear coaches talk about, well, this player makes his teammates better. Well, Johnny took it to one more level. Johnny made the game fun to play. And that's what separated him as a player. You wanted to be on this team, whether we were in the driveway playing 2-on-2, if we were at rec center, if we were at Austin P playing against their guys, if it was recess playing football. Johnny had an unbelievable gift with passion and joy to play. And that's what makes him a special player. Johnny and I would meet as teammates in a rec league over at Austin P. And we started playing, I don't know, 10, 11 years old. I came over here, followed my brother to the academy. We played all through middle school. We played through high school. So I've never had a teammate that I played with longer than Johnny. And the one compliment I could give you, if someone told me I could go back and play 4 years of college basketball, or if I could come back to Clarksville Academy, play 4 more years of high school, I'm running it back with this guy. Special player, great friend, Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Presentations. For those who don't know me, I'm Christine White, class of 1990. I see a lot of familiar faces in here, and I know that a lot of us have a lot of stories that we could tell about Coach Burton, both as a coach and as a teacher. I'll sum up what I can. Coach Cameron was a member of the Clarksville Academy faculty and staff from 1979 to 2018. Very long time. While here, he coached both middle and upper school sports. These range from tennis to girls basketball to football. He was most well known for his prowess in the math department, coaching the math team to many victories, state titles among them. And that's a time that I remember well and enjoyed my time on the math team. Dan's love for Clarksville Academy, his passion for his students, and his competitive nature both on and off the court field made him an obvious addition to the Clarksville Academy Hall of Fame. And as previously mentioned, he is joining his daughter Amanda, and they are the first father-daughter duo to be part of this elite group. Please join me in welcoming Coach Dan Burton to the Hall of Fame.